In a studio that's in a basement comes the epic story of how two friends changed the future of the movie podcast game forever. The reviews are in. Boys Life magazine gives the High Sci podcast 4.5 acorns. The Daily Bugle says, these guys are super legit. And Pope Francis declares the podcast as life-affirming. From the kid who tried to get smart with David Spade and got fucking old.
You're still out. You're still bad.
And the guy who can name all four Baldwin brothers.
Alec, William, Daniel, and the baby boy, Stephen.
Live from the studio of his parents' basement. The Have You Seen It podcast.
As you cough into the mic.
I just want to make sure. Cough button's off. Okay, now I'm clear to cough. I want to make sure everyone can hear that
Yes.
healthy cough.
It was a healthy
coming
cough.
deep within this chest. Yeah.
Well, welcome back to the Have You Seen It podcast. My name's Mason Knight. That is
Yeah, Cash Kraus. Sorry,
Cash Kraus. There you go. Yeah,
did you
well,
forget?
today I was going to let you just say your own name.
And it's a special. It's kind of a special occasion.
Yes,
We
it
might
is.
be sounding a little different.
We do sound a little bit different. We
Yeah.
probably don't sound so hollow anymore with those old mics.
Yeah.
Yes, we got a new setup here.
Yeah, it might not sound like we're podcasting from inside a cave anymore.
Yes, or inside a tunnel.
Yeah, or we're using one of those like the string and the cup thing.
Oh, yeah.
Where you get, that's kind of what it
Across
sounds like.
the, the neighbor.
That voice was always real hollow
It
when you're
was.
getting on
It
the
was
other end of that. But,
hard to pick up.
But yeah, we have a new setup.
We do.
New mics. We are sponsored by Rode now. We want to give them a shout.
Shout out. Yeah. No, we just buy a lot of your gear. That's all it is.
Yeah, well, they make good stuff.
They do. They really
But,
do.
Yeah, we got a new soundboard and everything. And what better movie to
Yeah.
review on this momentous occasion?
This sacred day.
We can only review one of the hottest movies out right now.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's
talking about this.
Before I say anything, I just wanted to. I'm so glad that we didn't go to a movie theater and watch a bad movie, like we were saying. Instead, we sat home and streamed a bad movie.
I'd say a terrible movie.
It's so funny. We were avoiding the theaters in February because
We
we
were.
don't want to see a bad movie.
No, we
we'll
don't.
just stream a good movie.
Yeah.
They'll be out in streaming. But my guy, you picked.
I picked a gem.
This is
The
this
Holy
is
Grail?
Surely, I don't know where you got this. It's almost like you someone purposely made this film just for us because
They did.
we will be the only podcast
To review
to
this
be
movie.
reviewing this movie.
Yeah.
Hands down.
I was panicking because I told you like Saturday, yeah, I'll pick a streaming movie.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. I'll just shoot you a text. Monday night rolls around and I'm like, oh, I forgot to pick a streaming movie. And I go on Netflix and I'm like, oh, a brand new movie dropped.
Yeah.
Anne Hathaway,
Yeah.
Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
I just,
Clear winner. Willem Dafoe.
You know, and the director, Dee Breeze, is
Yeah.
the one who directed Mudbound. And you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I cannot go wrong
And
with this
Pariah,
movie.
another good film.
Yeah, I cannot. Like,
No,
this is going to be monumental. This is going to be a great film, just like
It's a clear home run.
home run. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to call it, though.
Yeah, but could you ever imagine that it could be arguably the most confusing movie? And
Of all
this is
time.
putting up against like 2001 Space Odyssey, the movies that you got to interpret. So
Right.
this is unintentionally, I think, confusing.
A very confusing movie.
But one of the worst movies I could say of the year, without a doubt, of 2020.
I would say this is the worst movie so far. And you know what's so funny, too, man, is like the acting wasn't bad in this.
And this is coming from we could have watched Parasite. There's so many other movies. We could have watched that other one with Antonio Banderas.
Pain and Glory.
Pain and Glory.
Yeah.
We could have watched any other film that was just nominated for many Oscars.
Yeah.
A lot that are streaming right now. Free to us.
Free. I mean, we could have
Free
spent
at
our
no
2
charge,
hours
yeah.
so much better.
But you said nay.
Nay.
Those movies are shit compared to the last
thing
Let me read
he
it off the
wanted.
palm of my hand. The last thing he wanted, because it's the most forgettable title of all time.
The most forgettable title in the.
And after watching the movie, I have no idea what the title has to do with the movie.
Nor do I. I guess it's based on some 1996
What I get that,
memoir or
but yeah,
something.
because that's what a lot of reviews were telling me. But This just goes to show you that not all books are meant to be made into movies.
No, not all books are created equal. I'll tell you that much.
Well, I mean, this is what I heard is an amazing book, but not an amazing movie.
The translation to film was not good. It was all over the place from start to finish. I mean, we were watching this in the very beginning, and I kept having to go back thinking like, oh, I missed something in that monologue where I'm just completely thrown off. Who is this new character? They're introducing new things, new places, new generals.
At least 8 different plot lines.
It was everywhere.
After watching it, I was saying if you could, I mean, a story about a mom dealing with her dying dad and also dealing with raising a daughter, that's a good story. Mm-hmm. That's a good movie. A story just about a dementia or a drug or not drug dealer, but an arms dealer who has dementia and is like at the end of his career. That's a good story.
It is a good story.
A story about a journalist that was like taken off the beat to like be put on some mundane task because she got too close to the government. That's a good story.
An old man driving across the country, running drugs. A decent story.
A story about a politician, a diplomat who's struggling with corruption. That's a good story. But all 9 of those plot lines mixed into one movie is not a good fucking story at all. And that's what it was.
Well, it just pulled you everywhere.
Every scene, you were being introduced to a new plot.
You didn't know if it was an action movie, if it was like an investigative journalism movie.
I think it's supposed to be a thriller. But there's throughout the entire movie, there's this tense score. Like everything's supposed to, like you're supposed to, but you never know.
You never felt
No, when she goes to the airport or whatever, and the guy's just setting up a fake meeting just to like prove
something. Yeah, I don't even know what that was.
That was supposed to be. I felt like that was supposed to be really like tense. She's like looking around, wondering like who's who, but there's no tension at all. I was staring at my phone I was staring at anything else to try to take my attention off this film. That's how horrendous this movie was. And it's crazy that you can go from Mudbound to this.
It's I don't know.
Something
it's one
had to
extreme
have
to the other. Yeah, it had to have been. It wasn't well edited either. The whole thing was choppy as fuck, dude.
No, and
I kept watching this like, hold on, why are we switching over here? It's night and day, night and day, night and day. I'm like, what's going on?
And then you're in Costa Rica, and then you're in Honduras, and then you're like, why is that? And
I don't know.
Editing added a whole another level of confusion.
Mm-hmm. It did.
But that's what I'm saying. It was like it was supposed to be meant to confuse you.
I thought
in the worst possible way.
Right, and you see these movies where they go like from like Act 3 back to Act 1 and stuff, but it wasn't even that.
No.
It was just like from one thing to the other. It was supposed to be like all on one storyline, like down a straight line, but it felt like it was also trying to pull you other ways too. It was just so super confusing.
Yeah, I told you I kept having like the first 30 minutes I was going in and I was like, okay, I was getting a kind of a feel for it. And then like 40 minutes in, I thought maybe I looked at my phone and missed something because I didn't know where the story was going. And then 60 minutes in, I really started feeling that. So I'm like, okay, I got to go back a little bit. And then I'm like, okay, then I didn't miss anything.
No, you didn't.
They just explained nothing. And it keeps doing that constantly. By the end, you have no idea. I have no clue what she did. I have no clue why she was in South America.
Nor do I.
I have no clue why she slept with Ben Affleck in the first place. They had zero chemistry, and they said 2 things to each other.
Yeah, and she's like, "I knew you were the one," and I'm like, "What?" I know she meant like the spy, and not that they were in love, but I was like, "What is going on here?"
But that to me all meant like there was some like previous thing we were supposed to see because. By that point, I didn't thought they've never met.
That's what I thought too. That was my assumption.
But when they meet in the bar, it's like they've met before. I get that she was like following like the story and everything, but I don't know why they fucked.
Nor do I.
It happened very quick for Ben
Yeah,
Affleck. It was a good time for him, I guess. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was just.
Well, and originally Nicolas Cage was supposed to be Ben Affleck's character in this.
Yeah, I mean, and if Nicolas Cage backed out,
yeah, it's probably not good
because he's never said no. He's never said no to any movie.
I don't think so. Not into a movie he's interested in. Not at all.
His agent is just the fucking. I'm not sure. I think he might be his own agent because he's never turned down a role, not once. But for him to say no to this, and for him to go, I just don't get it. for Nicolas Cage, who's just living in a constant life of confusion, I assume. For him to say something like that, it's just wild. It's wild how all these people got into this movie together. How's it happen?
I have no idea. This is another circle situation where you look at the cast and you're like, how in the hell did this movie get made?
I'm guessing
and why did it get made so
they must
terribly?
have just saw the director and was like, well, she's done good stuff.
Yeah.
I don't need to read this script. And they said, I'll just wing that because
we trust you.
Yeah, there's no way she's going to steer us wrong with that. But what a colossal.
Definitely did. And we got to talk about the monologues in this movie.
Just the dialogue in general.
Just the dialogue in general, but I mean the monologues more specifically because, dude, they were off. Well, none of them made any sense whatsoever.
Well,
I felt like she was speaking in code the entire time.
Every dialogue was a monologue.
Yeah,
even just random talking on the phone or anything. He even talked with like the cab driver. It'd be this long-winded, really dry, like metaphorical, like. Talk about confusing. Even the dialogue, you had no idea what anyone was saying. No. The whole like apple pie scene.
Yeah, that I was
sometimes you gotta use a spoon. You gotta scrape up. Like, what are you?
Like, what are you trying to? What is this a metaphor to? Yeah. Like for? Like, how am I going to use that in my day-to-day life? Scrape the sides of what?
But that's how it was for every single scene when someone was talking to you, and they speak on the phone almost constantly throughout this film.
And I kept thinking, all these trigger words like CIA and stuff. How is none of these guys picking this up? How are they not listening to any of these phone calls? Oh,
she's mean with generals,
involved.
And the generals are telling her everything about this arms.
No secrecy at all.
Yeah, I've met a loose-lipped general who's willing to tell the press, let alone just some guy like a bar or something. But yeah, it was the whole thing. I guess we can talk about the plot. The whole thing starts off about the Contras, but then it turns into she gets too close to that. The Contras about Reagan, them sending money into like the terrorists, right? We all know, but yeah, she was investigating that. She got too close, so they put her on just following the campaign trail, and then her dad
was like a secret arms dealer for the United States government, I think, or along those lines.
I don't know if he's for the. Yeah, I can't tell you. And I can't tell you why he had to do like the deal at the end, like why he was so desperate for it or whatever, and why she would agree to it. She goes from fucking just a straight edge journalist to this. Arms
dealer, yeah, for nothing. And it's like her dad's almost dead at this point anyway.
But dealing arms to what she was investigating.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess she just got too deep into the story, I guess is what they were going for.
She got so deep in the story, she literally
became the story. It does happen.
Yeah. But that's like the first 15 minutes. I mean, that's like the first 30 minutes you're jumped into that fucking... Well, first we get a 10-minute monologue that gives us nothing. It's just so like cliche Hollywood talk, how no one talks in real life. No one.
Not even reporters who write stories. Like, I was even trying to dissect the dialogue in the beginning, and I was like, not even like a reporter or a journalist who's following this stuff would talk or write.
You would only talk like that if you had a camera on you,
or if you did some like deep dramatic like voiceover work.
Yeah, but no one.
Which is exactly
even
what
in
this
real life,
was.
when people bring dramatic, they don't have some like people can't right off the cuff. I mean, most people can't improv. That's the thing. It's very, very difficult. And for like even like the bartender had like a long-winded metaphorical. These people are all. It's just wild. It's wild,
it should have been like an Elseworlds thing, like a different alternative universe.
By the way they were talking, you would think they would have thought they were constantly being like, because they were talking like mob speak metaphors where like nothing was clear, but they weren't. That was just them talking, like trying to be normal. But did not come off like that. It came off. It was just the entire time. Just something's off about the movie. The entire time you're watching, it's just off.
What do you think about William Dafoe's character though? That opening scene with him and Anne Hathaway in the bar. When we're introduced to him.
Yeah.
So, okay, that was funny.
It
wasn't...
Because by that point, you didn't know what you were in for.
Right, you didn't know what you were in for. Yeah.
You were almost following along. Well, it tricked you.
When I saw William Dafoe, I was like, oh, okay, this is where it's going to start getting good.
Yeah.
And then I saw his character, and I'm like, oh, there's hope.
Yeah.
This movie might not be bad. And then just kind of after that, it just all fell off the rails again. Like,
And
I did enjoy that scene, though. I thought it was great acting. I thought it was
it's
funny
good,
as hell, but
yeah. But it's like you didn't know he had like dementia. I didn't know he had dementia till way too late into the story.
way too late.
And then he's talking about his wife the entire time, and she died in like the 50s or something.
Right.
Because he keeps
Like a
have
long
your
time
mom
ago.
call me. Are they really just letting this man go around and assume that his wife is still alive? Why is someone not? It's just wild to me. It's wild that she would not even say, even allow
Well, and then-
this guy who has dementia, who can't remember almost anything. He's selling arms to a terrorist organization. You got to get a better guy. It just makes sense.
Right.
I mean, this guy's not equipped.
I just,
And then you're having your
you almost-
dementia dad ask you to deliver these, and you're just going, yeah, he's in the right
he's
mind.
in the right mind. I'm
He's
going to do
thinking-
everything he says. Yeah, like I love my dad that much that even though he has dementia. But the thing with the movie was, for me, like, I didn't even know if he really even had dementia halfway through the film.
No.
Because he kept like going back and forth. I didn't know if he was slow playing it, because remember in the hospital bed, he's like saying, no, this is all an act. None of it's real.
That's
and then I'm like, hold on, is he faking dementia or is he not?
And then and you didn't even know why he went to the hospital in the first place. I thought he had like a heart attack or something.
Yeah.
He had a dementia fit or something like that.
I guess like a nervous breakdown or something. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, that was, and then the whole thing with like him being in the hospital and like the nurse and everything. It was just weird.
Yeah, it definitely was.
This movie got better reviews. You know it's bad when they got better reviews than Fantasy Island.
God, I heard that movie was atrocious too.
Well, compared to this movie, it's like
It's probably a
Casablanca.
godsend.
Yeah, I mean. But yeah, it was just. This is one of those movies that I felt like work watching, and you never want to feel like that
No,
going to a
especially
movie.
not.
It
Especially
needs
when
to
you
be
come-
an escape.
Yeah, especially when you're on a podcast too, and you're like, man, I got to come up with at least a half an hour of material to talk about this movie when there's nothing to talk about.
No, because I can't remember any of it.
No,
and I
neither can
don't.
And I don't know how to even put it together. And Wikipedia itself doesn't even know how to put it together. You Google
No,
this
because
movie.
there's not. Oh, but this is the funny thing is, if you go and look like for separate like synopsis, like one synopsis will be completely different than
Than the
another
other
website
synopsis, yeah.
Like some synopsis will mention the dad, and like ones it will just be like, look at the premise: a journalist stops her coverage of a 1984 U.S. presidential election to care for her dying father.
That's not what it was about.
Doesn't
There was,
say anything
like,
about her.
6 other storylines.
She was in South
there.
America the entire
Yeah.
time. She didn't take her dad died, 45 minutes in? She wasn't taking care of, and she barely covered the presidential election.
No, at all. It was maybe 5 minutes on the campaign
It
trail
was
before
such
she
a
was gone.
small ball,
Super
but
small.
that's the Wikipedia premise. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it. I think that's the plot and everything. Like, you can't even read through it.
No,
There's nothing
no.
there. There's 2 or 3 sentences.
And then I'll read the IMDb synopsis. Gives you kind of something. A veteran DC journalist loses the thread of her own narrative when a guilt-prepared errand for her father thrusts her in from the byline to unwitting subject in the very story she's trying to break. That's a completely different synopsis from the
completely different. Not even close to being the same.
But that's every website you
And
go
still,
on.
it doesn't talk about any of the foreign countries she was in either.
No, it doesn't say
The
anything
fact
about
that she was in South America the whole time.
or anything about the Contras. That was literally the entire thing, right? That was why she was in South America, was to get
yeah,
closer
the
to
opening,
the Contra,
yeah,
wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the opening part of the movie, was it not?
Well, that's the entire time when she's driving through
Uh-huh.
South America. Wasn't she just, I think, trying to get closer? That's why she followed like the one black guy who drove her around for a while, and then she ended up robbing him,
Yep.
stealing his car, and then he ended up being.
French spy. Which I was like, what? The French?
And I did not know that until you literally just said it. I figured he was something. I did not know he was a French spy.
Yeah, he was the French spy throughout the movie.
It was bizarre because remember the whole scene of them driving, he keeps like wanting to stop her and like tell her that he's a French spy.
I think
She
so.
doesn't allow it.
Well, I know, but then in the car the whole time, like
She
he's
thinks she's gonna
threatening
get
to kill her.
raped.
Yeah, raped and
he's
killed.
thre-
Like, and that's
because he's not delivering it well.
no, he's not. Well, and he's like, let's pull over, and then he starts fiddling around with his gun. And you're like, yeah, dude, I'm gonna be scared of you too. I'm gonna literally grab your gun the first chance
That's
I
what
get
it was.
and rob you.
it was almost at times it almost felt like a parody of itself.
It did.
Because even like some monologues, she would be saying things like, "I don't know what I'm doing here," and she would like make it clear that she was confused. And I felt like this thing's kind of meta because I'm also feeling the same way. Like it was weird. Like, and like when she delivered the guns, right? And she's the worst arms dealer in the world. So they deal her the gun. She has no idea what's going on.
None at all.
She has zero. Her own pilot is working.
It's like, hey, I just get paid to come in and come out. All right. I don't.
No one told
deal
you
with
to make
anything
sure
else.
the person you brought also came back on the plane. No, I'd fly the plane. I go up in the sky. I land on ground. That's all I do there. But
I got a time schedule.
I know.
That's it.
I don't drive. I don't do it. I
don't know
fly.
what the cargo is. It's nothing. I fly the plane. That's it.
They don't pay me to do it. Yeah. But her going and like selling the arms, and then she just starts screaming, "Where's the money?" Just making a big scene while these guys are surrounding her for a. I mean, it's chaos.
Yeah.
She doesn't know what she's doing. And
I
then they
give you-
just throw down a bag of cocaine and she grabs a kilo and leaves the rest.
Didn't understand that at all. I'm like, okay, so who gets the rest of those
And
drugs?
she
Who
just
gets the
runs
rest
away
of the payment?
screaming. Yeah. What's going on?
Did the pilot, did the aircraft pilot grab the drugs?
He doesn't pick things
Nope.
off the ground.
No, he
I don't tie my
He's like,
shoe.
"Look, my union contract states I fly up and I fly down.
I
That's it.
can't do anything
Land
else.
and up.
Don't ask me to do it. Don't help. I can't do anything. I can't give you CPR. I literally can't do anything else. They'll kick me out of the union. I
can't lift more than 50 pounds.
Yeah, I
That's
can't.
all I can. Or 50 kilos.
They see me
whatever.
doing anything else, I'm out. I lose my union card and I can't do it. But,
Can't do it.
Yeah, it was
Let
wild.
me give you one cliche quote from this movie. Ready? And I'm going to try to do it in the most dramatic voice possible. This is by Alina, Anne Hathaway's character. In a perfect world, we make perfect choices. In a real world, we make real choices. That was literally one of the quotes from the film.
Yeah,
I just had to bring that to your attention.
And that's
It's
one of
just-
the lines I thought, oh my God, it's fucking a parody because they're not making any real choices in the movie. They're not
not.
doing a single thing that a
No.
real person would do. So I thought maybe this director just got fucking sick of directing movies and like, I don't.
Fuck, I'm going back to producing.
Like,
or
and
something.
like the second day in, she was like, I'm going to phone this one in and be like, I'm going to go like teach or something because it's not for me. Maybe just dealing with Ben Affleck, presumably coming to set drunk every day. Maybe she was just like, this is not good for me. Because it's crazy. And Rosie Perez is in this, and I can't even tell you why.
No, nor can I. That was the most confusing thing. And we just saw her in Birds of Prey.
Yeah. And even when they're talking, when it's like a like detrimental time and like she's got to like, she's at one point, she's like, go get your daughter and everything. Even then, they're still talking like metaphors. Like this point when you need to be as clear as
Clear
possible.
cut as possible. She's still like
When you have
talking in
this huge
circles.
story and like you just got to tell it. And then Rosie Perez, she's just like, oh, all right. And she says something back metaphorically.
Yeah.
She says something. Yeah. What'd she say? Like, if you die, I'm going to steal your pen name and like write the story.
Yeah, and then write the story for you and then take the credit. Post
Click. That's it,
posthumous. Yeah.
Not even questioning why this woman's been in South America the last 3 months and also living in where was she living at the end?
Costa Rica?
In Costa Rica.
I think
For
so.
some reason, she just started becoming a maid.
Yeah.
She just,
At that like abandoned hotel or something like that. I don't even know what the hell that was.
She, her daughter, I guess she just shipped to boarding school.
Didn't even let the
daughter's
father
just
take
calling,
care of
just
her.
begging to have a home back.
So can I go with Dad?
Sorry,
He's got
I'm
3
in Costa-
cars and a basketball court.
Sorry, I'm in Costa Rica doing God knows what for the last 6 months. Oh, sorry, I'm a maid now working for this guy.
Sorry, I chase a story and can't take care of you.
And at the last 5 minutes, it's not even the last 5 minutes, it's the last 30 seconds. It's like everything's supposed to be tied up by like her hearing that name. What was the name? Like Brian Hagen or Brian, and like it all connected, and like the flashbacks of her dad, and like
It was
there
Bob Weir or something like that.
Bob Weir, I think that was it.
Weir,
Like
yeah.
Bob Weir, he was everywhere. He's like at a picnic of her childhood, and he's like behind Reagan, and he's like
literally everywhere throughout her entire
he's on
life.
the
and
grassy
she never
knoll
knew it.
shooting JFK. And he's like, we're all supposed to know who this Bob Weir guy is.
Yeah.
And then Credits.
Well, it was so weird because like she got shot by Ben Affleck's character, the treat guy.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, hold on, who the fuck is Ben Affleck? Hold on, who is he?
He's
Why
a
is he killing
spy.
him?
I
He's a
thought he was like
spy?
a senator's assistant. Now he's on the front lines murdering
Yeah, now he's
people.
just a spy the entire time.
Yeah.
It was so confusing.
But he wasn't a spy because he was at like he was literally like, because he was like the what was the guy that he was working with? The apple pie guy was like head of state or something like that. Because he was like his assistant, I thought, or something. But that guy had spies running around all over the place.
He
Remember
did.
the other guy in the middle of the street handing him a big gun and then the sack of money into like the limo or whatever?
Yeah.
And then that guy, I guess, took that gun and flew to Costa Rica or whatever because he was the one following her in the car. Like he couldn't get a gun. It's Costa Rica.
It's now or never.
Guns flying in. Thanks. I got to take this now. I got to go to an airport to fucking fly with this gun. The gun that you are making me use. None of it made sense.
No, it was so bad. It was so bad, man.
Yeah. It it would make sense for me to, like, for this to be like someone's first like directing debut. Right.
Yeah, of course.
Because it just seemed like someone that just didn't know what they were doing. So for someone that has directed 2 good movies,
Really good movies.
it just doesn't make sense to me. It's something had to have happened because you don't go. I don't understand it. Yeah, I want to see behind the scenes. I gotta buy this freaking thing on DVD,
just to watch the special features.
The
just to see
blooper reel
what
on
went
this
wrong,
thing has to be. Yeah, because because to me, how do you even let this movie come out?
I don't know.
It's because if you're listening to this and you haven't even watched it, which I assume a lot of people haven't,
We'll never watch this movie.
you really can't understand it because this movie should never have been released. Even to Netflix, this movie should not have been released.
And I gotta be honest, like it was really fucking with me for a little while, Cash.
Yeah.
Because I was watching this movie and I'm like, because I didn't look at Rotten Tomato, I just looked at the director and then I looked at Ben Affleck and everything in the movie and Anne Hathaway and William Dafoe, and I'm like, this is going to be good. But when I started watching it, I'm like, man, I think this really sucks. Yeah. And then literally 30 minutes through, I had to look at Rotten Tomato and be like, what is the score for this? Because this is awful.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it was at 5% on Rotten Tomato, and I'm like, oh, it's not just me then.
Yes.
I started going crazy. I'm like, there's no way a movie like this can be bad. Well, when there's a will, there's a way, Cash Krause. And this movie was just absolute garbage.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I just don't understand it. I don't know how you could get this many people in a movie like this and it be so bad and have a good like source material too. I mean,
you had a ton to work with. I mean, if you would have just took one
Too
of
much,
the
I
9
think.
storylines you had, you would have had a brilliant story if you would have just followed one story. But it kept jumping around everywhere.
Well, this movie, it's so obvious that this works better in book form when you can have so much longer. I mean,
Yes.
this movie needed to be
and
8
you can jump
hours.
to and from in a book a lot easier.
This movie needed to be 8 hours long if it could be any kind of resemblance of a story we could follow because there's
Even
so
like an
much
in-depth,
going on.
Yeah, in-depth miniseries of like 6 episodes or something.
Yeah.
For a story like this that has so much content.
It really is something special. I mean, it really is. It's bad. It's unlike the bad I've seen though before. Where I swear it's purposely trying to be bad. It's not like it's bad acting or anything, but it's
No, and that's the thing. I want to talk about the acting a little bit because like for the dialogue these actors had.
yeah.
For the dialogue they had, I thought they did everything humanly possible to try to make this movie good from a performance standpoint. But
It's just
editing,
all the characters are
directing, and
so-
characters, it's just
All the characters are just so bland.
even
were
Anne
all-
Hathaway.
yeah, just so dry. It's just not her kind of character. I don't believe. It's like,
But I
she's
really
kind of bubbly and kind of, I don't know, up there to me. And it's her character was dry and it just it was bad casting. I thought. I mean, it just did not work. I mean,
So you think it's a casting fault? So do you place blame on Anne Hathaway?
God, I place blame on everything. No, I don't place blame on.
Because I really
because
thought
I don't think you
really
could have
thought
done
she did-
anything
No,
with the
that's what
dialogue.
I'm saying. I really think she did a good job.
But to
for
me,
what she
she's
had.
not a journalist
Mm.
character in my mind.
Okay.
I just don't think it just didn't work for me at all. I think maybe.
So who would you rather have, like a Kirsten Stewart or something like that?
No, not Kristen Stewart. Like, I don't know, like a really good. I mean, I'm sure I don't know a Charlize Theron, someone that can play really serious, hard hitting or whatever like that.
I could see her as a journalist. Yeah, absolutely.
Or even Olivia Wilde.
Yes.
Like when she was in Richard Jewell or whatever.
Yeah, she was.
I could see her as like
she played that narcissistic.
Yeah, I can see her
reporter.
as a hard hitting journalist or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, but
journalist.
there were scenes where you could see Anne Hathaway could go deep or whatever with like the child, the trauma or whatever. And we didn't even talk about how she survived cancer. That they just like sprinkling it.
Yeah, they totally sprinkled.
Which is
that
another
in.
storyline. A woman struggling with cancer, and now her dad's dying, and now it's just toss that in there right now.
I think it had the formula for. I mean, everything in this movie was the formula for a good movie, and it just didn't produce that.
Yeah, it's like trying to bake a cake with 900 ingredients. You're just trying to do like Fiddler. You're just throwing stuff in. It's not gonna work, man. It was a wild ride, I would say. Yeah.
Should I read one of the reviews?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, this is just the first one that popped up on imdb.com. Normally we don't read user reviews, but this movie warrants it.
Yeah.
So, end quote, "My God, was this horrible. The plot never materialized, and while the cast of all the stars was great to see, it lacked direction. Something I never thought I would see with the talent and director. Most movies have some underlying moral or idea that they are trying to get across, but even that was missing, parentheses, which is something I rather like. But in this instance, I thought that maybe it would be what made the whole thing come together. Bottom line, just don't waste your time. If you do only have yourself to blame, you've been warmed."
Here's a review from I think this is like the Los Angeles Times, or it's Los Angeles newspaper. I don't know what it is. I found the whole narrative confusing. Even if you can parse it out, it doesn't add up to a whole lot. And here's another one. Think of the brown paper material outside of boxes. That's what this movie is.
So just bland as hell.
Just bland as hell and just useless.
It's just not good.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So that's the consensus. Should we give her a grade? Is there anything else you want to say about it?
No, I think this is a real short podcast. Yeah. This was just a rare scenario.
This is going to win some Razzies.
Yeah, I think it will. I really do. I really
it might
believe
be the
it will.
big one. It might be a big one for the Razzies.
Yeah.
But
obviously an F for me.
Yeah.
I mean a clear F.
And I wish this is a time where I wish we gave lower grades. Mm-hmm. I really do.
Yeah, same.
Because I wish there was an F minus.
But you know what? This will definitely hit top 5 worst movies.
We already have
2020.
We already have one. We already have one for
We got one going. So
yeah.
We got to get those. We got to get at least 10 that we can pick 5 from within this 2020 year. Cash.
Well, you got one out of the way.
I did
quick. You did not take long.
And what better month to do it than February?
Oh man, and it's been such a bad fucking month. I want to go to the movies, but every time I look to see something, I saw Sonic last week. It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Compared to this,
we should have done
Gone with the Wind.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
On a serious note, since this podcast is short already, Jim Carrey. I heard a lot of people give him thumbs up on his performance.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he did. He really.
People were saying it was a typical 90s era Jim Carrey.
He stole the film for sure, yeah. I mean, he was the best part. But the voice acting was good, and them completely changing Sonic worked out because they broke the record. And it was the biggest debut for a movie based on a video game ever.
Yeah. It beat Tomb Raider.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it should have. Because it was better than Tomb Raider for sure.
I can imagine it was.
And that was a movie I was not very excited for.
Like,
it was fun. It absolutely was. And it was funny, too.
Really?
Yeah. Well, Jim Carrey.
I guess Jim Carrey, obviously.
Yeah, the dialogue between Sonic and the main guy, who's in a lot of shit, too, isn't that funny. But when Jim Carrey's on, it's him acting very... I mean, you haven't seen that kind of Jim Carrey since... I don't even know. Maybe like The Mask or Ace Ventura. You know, it's a lot of physical comedy that I didn't know he was still capable of.
Yeah, Ben Schwartz was the voice of
and he did
Sonic.
good. I love Benny Schwartz.
I knew his name was Ben. I always forget it's Schwartz though.
Yeah, he's hilarious. He's great and Parks and Rec.
Yeah, he's awesome in Parks. I love Parks and Rec. I miss that show.
Oh, me too.
Parks and Rec was great.
Yeah.
It never got old, too. You always felt so bad for Leslie. All she wanted to do
I didn't.
was just
I was so annoyed by her.
She just wanted to help. She just wanted to help people, and everyone just always,
That was, but yeah, I'd recommend if you're gonna see this over Sonic, I'd go with Sonic on this one.
Yeah.
And this is on Netflix's new top 10. Have you seen that? The new system they implemented. So they did now on Netflix. Watching this, I saw too. Says all their top 10. So it's top 10 films or what TV shows or anything that are hot in your country or whatever. And this was one of them. Yeah. The other one was like The Foreigner with Jackie Chan, which I liked a lot. But I don't know why it's hot right now.
Yeah, that's weird. Seems like an odd time. Yeah, 3 years after the
But I
release.
did like that movie.
That was good.
I think that movie, it was underrated. But yeah, and there were some other like shows, but this was on there for some fucking reason. And that's how you know the system is completely rigged. If they're throwing.
Well, they were promoting their Netflix
obviously,
movie.
yeah. I'm guessing they just randomly threw some titles in there just to and then four
by
of
the
their
way,
shit.
this is the one everyone wants to watch, so click on it, please. We got to make our money back.
Yeah, because I think one of them was The Witcher, which it probably is still hot.
Oh, probably.
But
well, I know people are still talking about it.
Witcher was good. Yeah,
I haven't finished it.
Yeah, and they're going all in with the fucking Witcher.
Yeah, they are. Season 2, they're already confirmed.
And an animated series coming out.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
Yeah,
Yep.
they're going all in. But
Ozark comes out next month. I can't wait for that.
I need something, man. I need. Hopefully, The Invisible Man is good.
I have heard
that's the only thing that could salve. Oh, you've heard bad things?
No. Go ahead. Sorry, I was going to bring up something else.
No, I was going to say that's the only thing that could save this February.
Yeah,
for
this
me.
February. Yeah, and that's the movie we're going to be reviewing next week. Thank God.
Good. I hope.
So do I.
Unless it gets a 5%. I can't do 2 5%.
No, neither can I. I can't even do a 5 or a 10. At least give me a 50%.
Oh
for
yeah,
the next
yeah.
one. Average those two out, man.
Yeah.
It's just brutal.
I really hope that is good, but man, do not watch the new trailer if you haven't already for Invisible Man because it shows everything.
I hate that. I hate when they do that.
That's just
And
February movies.
It only
I
feels
it's
like
most
big.
movies now.
Yeah, it only feels like big companies though, like Universal Studios and stuff that shows the whole movie. I never
Yeah.
see A24
And it's always these
giving away
movies.
their entire.
It's always
plot.
these movies they're desperate for people to see. So we'll show you the whole thing, so you know exactly where you're getting into. Because they assume people just, again, they want to know exactly what they're going to get into. They want any surprises. But yeah, the new trailer I saw, it just shows everything though. I mean, I could probably tell you exactly
what
how
happens
it's
at
gonna
the
end.
end.
Yeah,
Of course.
for sure.
That always happens.
I hope she ends up turning herself invisible and becomes an invisible woman.
Ooh,
And
there we
'cause
go.
Well, apparently, according to you, you said they are still doing Dark Universe.
They are.
So I hope.
Not according to me, according to
you're according to your. Yeah.
I'm not running the show here from the High Side
Well, I
Studios.
know you went down there.
Yeah,
and,
I
like,
did.
Sat in on a
demanded
board
it,
meeting.
Demanded
So
to be a
this
part
is
of the
coming
board meeting.
straight from you. We have a
Insider scoop.
we
for
have
sure.
a on-hand source, but yeah. So I hope. I mean, she's got it right. So I'm guessing the bad guy's not going to be the Invisible Man
No.
constantly, right?
No, of course not. That would be a terrible.
Unless every movie it's just her running from him.
Yeah.
Like she's not gonna
That'd
be
get old
she-
literally after the second movie.
She's not gonna be able to team up with the Wolf Man if she's still got to be worrying about this guy hunting her. But
Did you see that new show with Al Pacino, Hunters?
yeah, on Amazon Prime.
Have you watched an episode yet?
No, is it out now?
It is out. Devin Davis, who's been a guest on this podcast a few times, has highly recommended to us. He says it's an awesome show.
Are they hunting Nazis?
Mm-hmm. It's
Oh, okay.
Nazi
That's
Hunters.
awesome.
Yeah. He said it
that's
was
awesome.
awesome. He said
That's
we'd
something
love
that's
it.
so interesting. That's something that's so cool too. People that went hunting Nazis
Yeah.
after the World War.
We
There's a
gotta-
lot of Jewish people too that went in, and they fucking they went down to South America and brought those guys back up to fucking to Israel
Yeah.
to stand trial. I can't imagine the guys that didn't make it though back up for the trial. They probably just snuffed those guys.
Yeah.
Because a lot of fucking Nazis were never found. A lot of high up ones.
Oh no. Well,
But,
a lot of them. A
I'm
lot of them
hoping
were in
they
Argentina.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping they were found and they just were like, these guys don't go to trial. Ended them right there. But that is a very
It
interesting
would be
thing.
easier, and it would save a whole lot of money if you just put 2 in the back of the
Yeah.
noggin.
Especially if you're Jewish and like you're in the room with fucking
People who
yeah, with
annihilated,
like,
like,
like
your
an
people
angel
and a
of
lot of
death or
people,
something.
yeah.
You're like, how am I not going to just choke this
Yeah.
guy to death?
Yeah.
I'm not letting this guy fly in a fucking plane.
all I got to do is jump over this little barrier
This guy
here
isn't
to
getting
attack
first
him.
class.
No,
Yeah,
he's not. No.
Yeah, you're telling me I can just strangle this guy right now? Because those guys were all living in secrecy, so no one knows even. Well, I think everyone knew who they were.
Yeah.
I mean, some rich white guy just pulls up in your relatively poor village with Nazi gold, you gotta connect those dots.
You do. I think it would be pretty plain as day.
You gotta connect those dots.
You gotta
that
shoot
guy
him.
only pays you in fucking blood diamonds and fucking gold teeth and shit.
It's a
bad man.
red flag. Yeah.
But there's apparently a lot of descendants living in Argentina. Because that's where a lot of them
I guess
went. South America doesn't have they don't send anyone back.
Well, Tim Kennedy did a show. He's a former UFC fighter. He's a Green Beret in the military in the United States military, and he had a show called like Nazi Hunters or something. And there's people in Argentina still who have like the Nazi emblems and stuff, and all of their like grandparents stuff still.
Yeah.
And there's sectors of them that like still believe in what the Nazis used to believe in.
Well,
over there,
I guess I can tell a story because that we didn't go very long, but I'll tell.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, go ahead. This is like a free form one
again,
now.
And it has nothing to do with this movie or movies in general. But one of my history teachers at WSU, he used to teach for a private school in Switzerland. Switzerland, they'll keep your money, whatever. They don't care where you come from or anything. So it was this private school, and it was like people like sheiks from Middle East. It was this super rich school. They all send their kids to this school. And one of the kids was from Argentina, and his last name was something. His name was like Julio, and then something super German.
Yeah.
And on graduation, his grandpa came, and my teacher said all the teachers in Switzerland during graduation wouldn't look at the guy, wouldn't shake his hand or anything because they all knew he was a Nazi.
Whoa.
And that was in the 80s. Isn't that crazy?
Are you serious?
My teacher told me that. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. They said they never took it out on the kid. He said, but when it was his dad. It was his dad actually, but his dad was like 60.
Gee.
Yeah. So they said none of them they wouldn't shake his hand or anything because they all thought he was a Nazi. In Switzerland, if you know, they didn't like the Nazis.
No,
they have their entire.
I think most, if not all people,
they had their entire country rigged to fucking blow if they ever got and the Nazis never invaded them.
No,
but they've always been known to be neutral. But isn't that a crazy story?
That is crazy.
That was in the 80s. That was the late 80s, man. So those people are all still around.
And there's so many times too where it's like I feel like our generation kind of forgets that was less than 100 years ago.
Oh, people don't know, and
it's wild.
Anne Frank would have been the same age as Martin Luther King. They could have both been living. They would have been the same age as I can't remember some famous actress right now who's still alive. They would have been like 93. Anne Frank would have been.
So like a Betty White or something like that.
They would have been. Both of them would have been younger than Betty White.
Wow.
Yeah, is that crazy?
That is. That's
people
really
forget.
crazy.
People think it's so long ago, but it's just could easily slip right back into that.
Yeah.
I mean yeah. But so the last thing he wanted
was the last thing we wanted.
We would rather talk about Nazis than talk about this.
And that is pretty atrocious.
That is saying something.
Yes,
absolutely. It is. But I don't even know if I gave my grade, but I gave it an F.
Yeah, I would hope so. I would start to wonder about you if you didn't.
Yeah,
that's one where I would peer pressure you into an F. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be bullying me. You'd have to push me around to make sure. Look, you son of a bitch. Yeah.
Look, you're giving this movie an F. I don't care.
But it deserves it for sure.
It does. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm going to have to go watch like Mudbound just to cleanse my palate.
Out of your mouth, yeah.
Yeah. I need a cleanser after that. Which sucks because this is the last thing I saw. So if I died, if I died right now, the last thing I did would have been to watch this movie. Mm-hmm. And that would have been on you.
It would have been on my conscience. I don't know if I would have been able to live with myself.
You would have to probably end yourself knowing that I probably went to hell because God saw the last thing I did.
And he was not
watch this abysmal movie.
I'd have to take a one-way trip to Ghost Bridge.
Yeah, that's a trip
no one comes back from. No.
Well, Mason, that's all I got for this.
Alrighty. Well, if you guys like what you hear, be sure to check out our YouTube channel. Type in "Have you seen it?" That's SCENE. Have you seen it? We're on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe, like our videos, comment below. Let us know what you thought about this. atrocious film. If you're listening on a podcast, you guys can find our podcast on all formats: Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Stitcher. Our social media pages: Twitter, Seen It Podcast. Cash is on Twitter. That's just Cash. Instagram and Facebook, Have You Seen It Podcast. But for Instagram, just Have You Seen It, rather. My name is Mason Knight. That is Cash Kraus, and until next time.
Adios.